Good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of Caribbean Feedback. My name is Curtis Henry. Sitting in with us this evening, we have two of our regular panelists. We have a rather slim room this evening, Mr. Samuel Archer from Muzilog and Miss Karin Forrester from BantuKreations. And to my right on screen.
Down below there.
We have another Sam in the room tonight. I don't know if it's generally a handful dealing with one Sam, and tonight we have another Sam.
Yeah. You had two
Sam. Is it short for Samuel or is it just Sam?
It's actually Sammy.
Sammy.
Oh.
Sammie.
Oh, okay. So your parents got a little fancy with it and switch up on the name.
It was my dad.
Good night, Georgia Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. As I was saying, Mr. Sam Monroe from Ignite Empowerment. Good night, lady and gentlemen. I am pretty sure within the next few minutes we will have our regular latecomer stumbling into the room. We hope that she joins us tonight. So how everybody doing? How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Talk to me.
Doing well.
Fabulous. Salutations.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. I was going to tell you that we had two Judiths last week. So this week we have two Sams.
That's
Two
right.
Sams.
So next
I bet
week
you couldn't deal with two Karens. I bet you
we might have two Karens next week. Or maybe two Curtis next week. I don't know.
Okay, I'll see if I can get a Curtis to come on. Well, in terms of Karin, I-N, I don't know if we'll ever find another I-N. We might find a Karin. And we have a lot of those in the news lately. A lot of Karens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be no such comparison made here. No.
So tell me something, Miss Forrester. A couple of weeks ago you had people wanting to see the flag. Then you removed the flag, and today you decide to put it on your head. What's up with that?
Present and accounted for. What else do you want?
Wow.
But listening to you, we know say you're from Jamaica. Why you have to go and wait? You know what?
Well, I can disguise it. Why should I? I'm proud of it.
Hold on. Let me make sure mine is being seen.
Hi, Andrea.
All right. So now, Sam, we represent it.
I see.
Yeah. The flag is
present and in the house. So listen, what we're gonna do? Let's keep the thing rolling. We're gonna introduce ourselves and hopefully, good night, Denise Williams. Good night. Thank you for joining us. So starting with you, as usual, Miss Forrester. We're not doing the introductions anymore. I forget. We get a little fancy now. So Sam,
fancy.
we have paid commercials.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yes, it's that time. Take it away.
We official like The View, This is the Caribbean version of The View.
Make it happen.
No.
The View is
I liked it,
the
but
version of
it
the
has
Caribbean.
changed so much. No, I don't want that comparison. No.
People are talking.
Maybe you don't. No. My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Check me out, ChrisKeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
Koya, I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cutt from Music by Tom Cutt. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Archer, our technical person.
That's right.
I don't know how else to describe you. The technical stuff.
That's right.
Sammy, you made, hold on, what was that last comment there? She said, Sammy, you made the man wipe his eyes. LOL. Which Sammy, who is?
Right, with Sammy.
They have to be specific this evening. I don't know. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do for the other Sammy, we have Mr. Monroe from Ignite Empowerment. What I would appreciate, sir, just take a little time and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and what exactly it is you do.
All right, sounds good. Well, my name is Sam Monroe, and definitely I'm a true native of Florida, born and raised. And I tell the story that I'm a product of a single mom. Dad was incarcerated all my life. So I strive every day to make impact in the life of young people, letting them know that in spite of their situation, in spite of being raised by a single mom or a single father, that they can be whatever they want to be in life. So Ignite Empowerment, when it was developed, it had that mission to be able to empower the young people. As you can see behind me, it says encourage, empower, and motivate. And it's to encourage, empower, and motivate individuals to be the best that they can be. Now, as I stated, born and raised here in Fort Lauderdale, pretty much I have actually worked with young people for over 25 years. And I continue to work each and every day, focusing on making them better, helping them get to that level. And as I always tell the students, don't let your situation take the best of you. You take the best of the situation. So now, how do we look at that? Now, I strive every day to have a positive mindset. I push that same type of drive with my staff, that same drive with my young people, that same drive in my household. How to have that positive mindset to look at life in a whole different way. And honestly, everything that we do in life is about the impact that we make. But what's most important is about us being intentional to make those things happen.
Yes, sir. We're gonna go in depth. We are gonna go in depth with that this evening.
Yes.
Yes.
So technically, that's pretty much me.
Yes. Okay. Now we have Miss Judith.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you.
I've been here. Okay.
You've been okay. All right.
She's been behind stage. She was backstage.
Don't yam off my head.
I didn't just arrive.
Thank you. So, Sam,
Mr. Monroe, how are you, sir?
I'm well. You, Dr. Judith?
I'm fine, thank you. You can call me Judith.
Okay.
Call me Jane.
Yes, sir.
Where we in terms of the shows? What number we do your regular thing since Judith is here?
Yes. We had to do
Where
that.
Are you?
We did it last week.
No, we didn't. I lost track.
Do we need to do it twice tonight? No. All right. 10.
That's 20.
10.
That's 30. 9. 39. Episode number 39.
39.
I say it once, I will say it twice. It shows, it is a testament of what happens when you keep putting one foot in front of the other, keeping your eyes on the prize and moving forward.
That's right.
We had a dream, we had a vision, we decided to do this, and we kept going. Now we are at episode 39.
Wow.
And as I am accustomed saying, I look forward to episode 139. That's
right. That's right. That's right.
Our topic of conversation this evening, I. And when I say I, I'm not just saying I as in this individual here. I and I, the inclusive, are more than my man-made label. I am more than my man-made label. Panelists, viewers, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with Maya Angelou. If you had met Maya Angelou as a young woman, your impression or memory of her would have been that she was a prostitute. Later on in life, she rose to fame as a poet, an author, a speaker, and was even awarded the 2010 Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama. The same goes for Malcolm X, who was known as Detroit Red during his earlier years. He was a hustler, drug dealer, a pimp. But fortunately for most of us, we were introduced to him a bit later on in his life, where we came to know him as Brother Malcolm X. And later El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. So tonight, I ask you, do you know me? Do you know me? Do any of you really know me? I mean, do you really know who I am? Ask the question, who am I to you? Don't you judge me by those man-made labels. I, Curtis Brian Henry, I'm so much more. And let me tell you all something. I won't allow my yesterday to affect my tomorrow. If you knew me at the age of 14, you would say, oh, he's a troubled child. That's when I got expelled from school. If you knew me at 15, I was a runaway, homeless, started drinking alcohol, drunk as a child. I was fired from my first 6 jobs. At 16, I was like a magnet for trouble. Constant fights. I remember one time I was in a fight for like a week and a half. Every single day I was in a fight somewhere. I attracted that stuff to me. I was left unconscious, beaten and bloody, face down in a canal or a gully, as Jamaicans would say. At 16, I was pushed off a rooftop. Many people don't know this. Emigrated to the US. At 18, involved with guns, and I was a victim of the streets. 24, I wouldn't even use the word arrested. I was captured by NYPD, slapped around, taken for a ride, threatened my life. Many other times arrested, roughed up by NYPD. I could have been considered the poster child for failure, but I prevailed. And today at 58, soon to be 59 years old, I'm proud to say I'm the father of 7 children, a US Army veteran, an author, poet, writer, producer, director, filmmaker, actor, calypsonian, upholsterer, businessman, and yes, CEO of my own company.
That's right.
So I asked the question.
That's right. That's right.
Do you really know me? Dr. Judith, I've known you for well over 30 years. And if I had to describe you 2 years ago, I would have said that, oh, she's an actor. Yeah, I know we did a lot of stage plays together, and she's a very funny woman. And yeah, she's a broadcaster also. But Dr. Judith, is that who you really are?
I can't answer you. It's just too much. It's just too much. I mean, I'm being very serious. It's deep, as they say. It's deep.
It's deep.
It's deep.
It is.
My second oldest sister lives here in Georgia. Told me some weeks ago, which surprised me. She says, "People don't really know you. They really don't understand you," and it's true. I very rare, as you know, Curtis, and don't tell people I've known you over 30 years. I'm only 25, but you have known me long enough to know that a lot about me, to some degree anyway. But I would like to think, above all else, some of the things that you have said, I've done those things also. But the essence of me is that and this is how I feel, and this is how I felt for quite a while. The essence of me is that I am a child of God, and I'm a mother, and that's the essence of me. I love family, means the world to me. The other things are outlay. They come as a result of relationship. They come as a result of communication. But the true part of me is what I just said. I am a child of God. It's a very powerful part of my life. I'm a mother. That's extremely powerful to me. And I'm a family member. And you know me long enough, Curtis. I adore my family. Well, I learned not to adore them. I love them in a healthier way now. But all the other things, the writing and the recent 2 years ago discovering, being told that I could paint paintings, and that I'm actually doing that. All of that is just it emanates from that basic core person that I am. And that's the best I can tell you.
You are more than your man-made label. That's right. That's right.
I am.
You gotta clap that up.
I often say to Sam, and that's Archer, on many occasions on the show, to list his credentials. List your credentials, Sam.
Yes.
Because
sir.
here on Caribbean Feedback, the viewing audience have come to know you as an author,
yes,
an author, and podcast host. But the truth is, you are way much deeper than that, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
I am deep. I don't know how deep I am, but there's some depth. There's definitely some depth. You know, as you can see, there's a keyboard behind me, so I'm also a musician. You know, I'll say Lord of Sound. You know, look at Dr. Judith. She's like,
that's new. I never heard that before. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's poetic.
Sound. Yeah, it's a cool title, right? Lord of Sound. Yeah. And what's the other things? You know, school. You know, did some school stuff and some drama. You know, some real life drama, and drama on stage. Some drama on stage, and I have a few albums. So
a few, Sam?
Yeah, a few albums, and
how many is a few?
About 5.
In the music industry, Sam, 5 albums.
Yes, sir.
Are not described as a few.
Right.
That's an amazing feat.
It's a kind of
a lot of popular artists do 1 album, 2 albums, and they disappear into oblivion.
Yes.
You have 5 and still jamming.
I am still jamming. New single out right now called Quality. So you guys could go check that out, and it's available on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify and all that good stuff. And listen to some quality.
We cannot just look at that keyboard behind you and judge you and say, Sam, keyboard player.
You can if you want. You'll still be right. It's just that there'll be so much more to the answer, you know.
So much more to the answer. Remember the story you told me about the gentleman, the bass player, and the argument that took place? Because one person said, go ahead, tell the story if you remember it.
Oh yes. But there's so many different ones. But the one with the bass player.
yeah. And two of you standing there arguing and say, no, the bassy, and somebody said, no, he's a trombone player. And
that story.
Yes.
Yes. So there's this no, because there's so many similar stories to that. That's why I wasn't trying to be too funny on that. But yeah, there was this gentleman, he's still alive, by the name of Orville Roach. He's actually from Trinidad. He's one of the Roaches from Trinidad. No, Roach from Trinidad. I don't want to say Roaches. And the first time I saw him do anything musical was on keyboards. And then I was speaking to someone else some time after, and they called him a trumpeter. I didn't know he played trumpet. So we were arguing because I said, no, he plays keyboard. And the next person, no, he's a trumpet is his real instrument. And one day I saw him and some other, two other gentlemen, they were practicing for a gig. And he's there playing trumpet and keyboard together. And so he's either like this. So he's playing the trumpet, and then he's playing chords with the next hand. And it blew my mind. I had never seen anything like that before. That was just, I couldn't even imagine how to even do that.
Because Mr. Roach, too, is so much more
than his man-made
labels. What we may perceive an individual to be,
without
knowing the true depth of that particular individual.
Shout out to the Roach family from Trinidad. There's actually it's a musical family. There's violinists and trumpeters, and it's crazy. And singers, and they should just restore them. They're just so talented.
Okay, we all know our panelists up there, Karin, Jamaican born, nurse, entrepreneur. Is that it, Karin?
I don't define myself by what I have done or what I do, primarily. I am many things. I am a woman, a Black woman, a woman of West African descent. I've recently traced my heritage to the Ashanti tribe of Ghana. I'm from the Caribbean island of Jamaica. I'm educated, degreed, but I am a true country girl at heart and proud of me. When labels are placed on me, verbally, written, or otherwise, I don't necessarily claim them. I'm just a different sort than that.
The Ashanti tribe?
The Ashanti tribe of Ghana.
All right.
And that has been given to me by family members. We've been doing sort of like ancestry searching.
All right. That's powerful.
Mr. Monroe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know what you said in the opening.
Yes.
I heard you.
Yes.
But who are you?
Wow. You know, I like that question. And I like the way you labeled it. I am so much more than my label. Because I am. And, you know, I at one point mentioned to my wife, I said, you know, I don't have a story to tell. I just have a simple life. But when I look back over life, I do have a story. As I stated, I was a product of a single mom. Well, I'm now a president and CEO of an organization, striving each and every day to make impact. Because you know what? Somebody made impact in my life. So it's about me giving back to make impact in somebody else's life. There is just so much to the story that we can go on for 2, 3 hours tonight with all of us sharing our story, because we all have a story to tell. Even our panelists, our listeners, everybody has a story to tell. And it's all about how do you craft that story to be able to tell that story.
I remember a few months ago, it could have been a pandemic pass, over a year ago. I went to a funeral, my former brother-in-law, and I spoke at the funeral. And one of the things I mentioned is that on every tombstone, on most tombstone, or on the program for the funeral, we see the person's name.
Mm-hmm.
We see the year they were born, a dash, and the year they died.
Yes.
That dash represents your story. That's your legacy.
That's right.
19 whatever to 19 whatever, or to 20 whatever. What does that dash say about you? That is your story there.
Yes.
What kind of life did you live? What kind of story are you leaving behind? What will your legacy be? Mr. Monroe, you are working directly with children.
Yes.
As you say, encouraging, empowering, motivating. A lot of people tend to think that motivation is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Or that motivation stuff. You listening to them motivation tapes again, or you reading that another motivation book. That stuff is no good. It doesn't last. But I heard Zig Ziglar said before, neither does bathing. That's why it's recommended every day.
Right.
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 Right. So yet still, you continue to motivate. Was this something that you chose, or was it something that you just naturally gravitated towards?
It's part of my passion. That's something that I gravitated to because of my story. As I mentioned earlier in my introduction, I had a father who was incarcerated the first 27 years of my life. So I had nobody to give me direction. I had the aunts and the uncles and the grandmas. I had all those around me. But actually, many don't understand that not having the father around, that's a huge impact on the life of a child.
Yes.
Now, for the 27 years, I didn't know what it was like to actually not have dad around, because my mom, and she passed away February 2019. But my mom, she made sure I had everything I needed, not what I wanted. And that's a lot of where parents fall short today, because they're too busy trying to give them everything they want and not their needs. So honestly, I didn't fall short anywhere the first 27 years of my life, because mom made sure I was taken care of. So part of the question that you asked, it's about me really making sure that young people can realize that just because dad wasn't there, they still can have a story to tell. They still can be a legacy for somebody. And that's the big question tonight. Am I leaving a legacy? And that's a question for everybody on this call. And if you are leaving a legacy, what does that look like? What's your legacy look like? And there's like many areas that you can focus on for as your legacy. One could be time. One could be finances. One could be values. Are you instilling any of that information or those things into your family? Now, part of the conversation tonight, we're going to actually talk about family and community. How do we invest in family, investing in community, but also being able to leave a legacy behind that?
Dr. Judith,
Yes, sir.
you've often mentioned about mother of a son, a young, strong, healthy black man. What are you continuing to do to empower that young man to be a shining example on the street? Not just to be a reflection of you, but to be a reflection of the values that you instill in him.
Yes.
Well, I think, and I'm sure Mr. Monroe said something that kind of, it clicks with me about being a single mom. And I'm not a single mom because I have the power of God with me. That's what's brought me to where Karin and I are. And I'm very aware of it, very aware of it. What I am big on, key thing you just said, Mr. Monroe just talked about, Karin has gotten all his needs met for 24 years. He has gotten what he needed. And as he gets more mature, he's getting some of what he wants. But some of that, he's not just material things, but he's paying for these things himself, not necessarily me paying for them. But of all the things that I have shared with him and I continue to share with him is the whole idea about integrity. It is so important. And a man can give that and a woman can give that. Any human being that's aware of their own value can pass on the value of integrity. And so I tell him all the time, no matter what, live in such a way that you can look at yourself. And even if you frown when you first look at yourself, you can say, I'm going to work that out. Because part of the problem that we have in this generation is that everybody's got to be perfect. The perfect people are dead. There are no living people that are perfect. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't go together.
Well, I'm as close to perfect as you will find.
I know that. Listen, you notice that I'm talking about my son and I. We're imperfect. I never mentioned you because I know your status. I know where you stand. But the thing is that my big thing in James, the book of James, chapter 1:22, it says, let's not just be hearers of the word, but also be doers of the word. And I see no point why people read the Bible and then people, I've read it from back to front. That's good. I ain't read it from back to front. But what I have read so far is teaching me how to live on a daily basis. He sees me living it. He just doesn't hear me talking about it. And that's what, if nothing else that I have, whatever we give our children, they're going to take it and mix with their own stuff. It's not just, it's going to be diluted at some point, and it's not going to be pure us, and that's good because they have to have their own ideas and their own thoughts. But he is seeing me live out whatever I have said to him. And if there's not, and I'm not prideful, but if there's anything that will come close to me feeling proud, it would be that. It's hard to live what you speak.
That's right.
It's hard. It's difficult. And there are always people willing to topple you. Because people actually say to me, and all of that. I said, that's all right. You're entitled to your opinion. But after a while, those same people will tell me, as one of my sisters said, she said, I have never seen anyone so consistent. To be consistent in the correct things is hard.
Yes.
Because I want to break down sometime. I want to be just as crazy as Curtis. I'm sorry, not Curtis. Other people. But the truth is, for us to have any real significance in this life, for us to, like Mr. Monroe is talking about working with children, to be able to even think you can give somebody something of value, you've got to have consistency. You've got to be day in, day out. This is who I am. Now, the beauty of my life, and I believe there is beauty in it, is that when somebody tells me that I'm off kilter, when somebody shows me that I've messed up, I can say, I'm sorry, and turn around. And I tell people all the time, I said, a strong person, I've heard people say, well, that's a real strong person. And that person, what they mean and what they're saying is that person sticks with things no matter what. Part of the strength that we ought to have is to say, hey, I messed up. Let me turn around. Tough is when you say, I don't care what you say, I'm sticking with it, I'm going to do it no matter what. That's not strength. That's not real strength. Strength is the ability to see the mistakes you have made, admit to them, and then with help or by yourself, correct them. So if there's anything that I have lived in front of him that I am very happy about, and I see it coming out in him, is my being consistent with the correct things. I'm also consistent in some stupid things. I'm getting better at those. But I'm consistent in the things that he needs to live, especially as a young black man. Especially as a young black man. And I'm going to end this part with this. I do not coddle him. I do not, that's my little old man. He's not my little old man.
That's right.
He's a young man growing into his own manhood. I don't make him feel, I ask him what he thinks of me. And I asked him one day, I said, what do you think of such and such, something I'd done or whatever? And we have very frank conversations. And he said to me, well, Mom, I think sometimes you over-explain, which is probably what I'm doing right now. And I said to him, that's okay, I agree with you. And what that did for me is that from that moment on, I started watching myself and trying to catch myself whenever I'm over-explaining. So I learn from him, he learns from me. It's a great deal that I got.
But you know the strange thing, you ain't never asked me what I think about you. You want to hear?
I don't think we have time. I think I'll have to get some, plug up my ears. I don't think I could stand it. So maybe we'll do that.
You don't want to hear it clearly?
No. I can't trust him. I can't trust him.
Interesting.
Can I comment on that?
Most definitely.
With Dr. Judith. Now, I want our listeners to know, just to hear what Judith said, that's how simple of creating a legacy. That one word that she said was consistency. That's a legacy right there. Because if Judith passes away, she will be known for being consistent with the right type of behavior. So that was a very simple legacy. So all of us on the call right now, again, ask yourself that question. Am I leaving a legacy if something happens to me and I'm out of here? Am I leaving a legacy? Thank you, Ms. Judith. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hold on, Karin. I want to tie two conversations into one. Let me ask Sam something first.
Yes.
Or let me explain something I've realized with Sam. Sam, how old, you have two children, correct?
Well, actually, I have one.
Sorry, Mr. Archer. Oh, you have four. Okay, Mr. Archer.
I claim two children, yes.
Claim two children.
No, one of the things I noticed with Sam, we sometimes we spend a lot of time on the phone discussing business or just shooting the breeze. Whenever Sam's daughters, either one of them, enter the space, if she walks into the house or she's about to leave, Sam puts me on hold. And he addresses her presence at that point in time. Once she enters the house, he says, hold on. And he turns to his daughter and exchanges a few words, compliments, whatever it may be. And if they're leaving, he said, hold on. And he addresses them. Mm-hmm. How important, Sam, or valuable is it at this stage of their lives, even though they are way past 18, for you to still influence with your presence?
I don't know how important it is. I'd be lying if I told you I knew how important it was, but they're very valuable to me. So while I am here, I want to give them that attention, even if they mightn't understand it now. You know, when they get to my age looking back, they can see that there was an example that they can also carry on for their children, provided if they have any. I think acknowledging them is important, regardless of how simple or it might be trivial to some.
Yes.
But at least giving them that attention, at least they can look back at it if they don't receive it right away, because that's what happened with me. When your parents wanted to do stuff with you or what have you, or acknowledge you, and you wanted to go, or you have your little program you want to do, but they still wanted to connect with you, which is what my parents did with me. So it's just part of my personality. And I just gotta make sure that they're good. And plus they're ladies, so daddy gotta look out.
Take care.
Make sure they're straight. Even if it's a half a minute, and just
how old are they now?
Well, since we're on public vibes, they're in the early 20s, let's say.
In the early 20s.
In the early 20s, yes.
Young woman in their own right, but yet still daddy.
Yeah, they don't have to do that for nothing right now. They could say, I'll see you later.
That's right.
But daddy's presence and daddy's essence is still essential. And you show that. You show me that every time we're on a conversation and they enter that space. Don't think I'm not paying attention, bro. I'm watching.
I realize you. I realize you are.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Curtis.
Go ahead.
You say you paying attention and you watching, but are you applying any of that?
Am I who?
Applying any of that what you see him doing?
Oh yeah, well, my daughters are grown and gone. They're 30, 34, going on somewhere up there, 33, and the other one, 29, they are grown women on their own.
They got grandkids? You got any grandkids?
I have, yes, but they're in New York. I have 3 little rambunctious boys. And most times when they enter and I'm on the phone, it's like, boy, if you don't get you behind outside, because yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference. It is. Well, the stage that they are right now, you have to just sometimes get away from me, man. Yeah, so all with love. Karin, let me tie in something you said, going back to your African roots, the Ashanti tribe. I don't know much about the Ashanti other than from what I can remember, they were very tall people, very tall. Very. Why you all laughing? I ain't saying nothing about Karin.
I don't think you're thinking of the right group. But what I wanted to comment on here, the topic led me to research. I'm a researcher. No matter what I'm interested in, I do a lot of research. And when I researched the Ashanti people of Ghana, there's a documented slogan of that tribe. If I go forward, I will die. If I step backward, I'll die. It is better to move forward and die. I personally always say, look back to learn, look forward to live. I'm from a people who are respectful, who speak clearly, who are proud of their country, their culture, family. They're welcoming of others. They seek long-term relationships. They are interested in education. They're passionate about their community and their society, and they embrace all their traditions and try to pass it on, especially with food. I saw so many parallels between the people that I'm describing and what's important to me: to be respectful of others, to live a life of integrity, and to hear my ancestors described in a way with words that are so important to me, sentiments that are so important to me. I truly can embrace these people as my ancestors. They were very intelligent, they were craftsmen, but to feel passionate about where they are, who they are, and their family and community. That is what I feel most passionate about. And I love that I can see that from where I'm from.
I like
And the Ashanti people are native to Ghana. Am I correct?
Ghana.
Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very large group.
Several years ago,
tall and short.
No, we're not going into tall and short. I'm not with
I'm gonna leave
that.
that alone.
I'm not going in that
That
direction.
is not where that conversation was going, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Let me tell you something. Several years ago, when I was living in Brooklyn, I had a neighbor live directly across from me. He was Nigerian, and I can't remember what the occasion was, but one day I invited him into my apartment, and he came in, and he started looking around in awe, shocked. And he, he let out a couple of those, and he said, "Are you Nigerian? Are you Nigerian?" He said, I always thought you from Jamaica, but you're Nigerian, aren't you?" I said, "No." He said, "No. Now, as you all know, I do upholstery, and I had an upholstered wall. Where I put fabric on the wall and upholster it. And he said, this fabric, this is Nigerian. This is Nigerian fabric. Your whole decor, the mask on the wall, that is Nigerian. Everything about your place is Nigeria. No, you cannot tell me you're not from Nigeria. No, you have a Nigeria. Maybe your father from Nigeria." And he had great difficulty understanding that, not even understanding, but that I was not, because everything about my decor was Nigerian. And as we began conversing, I told him my eldest daughter name is Onisha. No. One of the largest cities in Nigeria is called Onisha.
Oh,
wow.
And he said, no, this is not by accident. He said, "You do your research, yeah? Do your research. I can guarantee you are Nigerian. I don't care what nobody say, you are Nigerian." Now, several years later, I found out that my second cousin, did a DNA trace only to find out that her grandfather, my uncle, my father's brother, has Nigerian roots. And I can guarantee you, if I too was to take that test, doing that DNA test or tracing some of those roots, they will in fact end up in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. And I would have to say that whatever tribe my people were from, that they and the Ashanti were peaceful people, because I don't think those two tribes ever warred.
I don't agree with you. You and I are not peaceful.
And she looking serious too.
He just cannot resist it.
You see, I can't resist it. I'm trying to have a really peaceful and cordial conversation. We have guests. You see,
I'm not guest. I'm family. I'm not guest. I'm family. I'm not guest.
Thank you. We embrace
okay
that.
to misbehave.
So I can say to you, I have to keep it real, Sam. I have to keep it real.
We have company. This is the time when we take out the special dishes.
No.
Company, family.
You
must use special plates every day. Listen, I don't have special plates in my house. All of them are used.
I'm trying to be at my best behavior for the guests.
Give that up.
So Dr. Judith, did you have any connection to any country in Africa?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm connected all over the place. I live with a worldview. I do not live a Jamaican life. I eat Italian food. I eat African food. I eat Czechoslovakian food. I have always had a worldview, and I've never thought I was just. But I have no doubt that I have African roots, none whatsoever. Some of my attitudes are very indigenous to African cultures. My attitude about life and about people, and that spirituality and that consistency and that deliberate. I think not all, but there's an attitude for Africans, the continent, to have survived this long. They had to be deliberate about their lives. And I went to once I was in London in the post office, and at that time I wore my hair still natural, but I had a lot, and I combed it back. And I had on a long black and white skirt, like a plaid skirt, and a black turtleneck. And I felt absolutely wonderful. I usually feel pretty good about life. And I'm standing in the post office, and this guy comes over to me. Don't say anything, Curtis. This guy comes over to me, and he says to me, "Are you from Zimbabwe?" Let me tell you something. I almost started weeping. No joke. I said, "You think I am African?" Oh, my God. I said, "You think I'm from Africa?" He said, "Yes, you look, you hear." I said, "Me?" I said, "God bless you." I said, "As far as I'm concerned, I am from Zimbabwe. I'm from everything African." it's there. I remember at some point talking to Jamaicans about African roots, and they were like, "African is bush. People come from bush." And I'm saying, have you ever looked at Africa? The continent is not a country. Have you ever looked and seen the beaches? Have you seen the cities? I mean, that's where it all began in Africa. That's where it all began. Civilization began in Africa. But we Black folks don't recognize, as if for lack of knowledge, of people perish. And we're perishing because we don't recognize. So for me, I meet people in the supermarket. I say, "Where you from?" And they tell me, and we start talking. I said, "What languages do you speak?" And one lady said to me one day, she said, "Thank you for asking me." I said, "Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting to know who we are related to." And like you just said, Mr. Monroe, you said, we're family. We're more family than we think we are.
That's right.
And the fact of the matter is that that's why other people defeat us. They already see our power. They see our inherent strength. The Bible talks about dunamis power. We have that power as a race of people. The only people that are not aware of it in full is us. But the people that try to mess with us and do mess with us, they see our power. And until we get rid of these, well, I'm Trinidadian, and there's nothing wrong with, making a big deal about where you come from. But the bottom line is we are a family. And we're from all over the place, especially Africa. But some of us are still, we're ashamed to say that. So my long answer is, Sam, I am sure I'm connected to some parts in that, maybe several places. I have no doubt about it. And I love the idea that I would trace it and find out that that guy in London, when he asked me that, the compliment that he paid me to think that I'm from Africa. Wow. Wow.
He made your day, huh?
Listen to me, probably a couple of weeks.
Let's bring it back to the legacy part. Let me ask you something, Mr. Monroe. In your chosen field right now, I want you to think back. How do you compare the 18-year-old Sammy who came out of high school to the 30-something-year-old Mr. Monroe that you are today?
Wow. That's it's funny. I have a good friend, and actually we was talking, matter of fact, I think it was this morning, and we was talking about life back in the day to the point where we are right now. And honestly, how do I compare it? I look at my life right now as the most successful thing that I could have even imagined. Me growing up, again, I was one of those kids who kept to themselves. I went in the back of the school and had lunch when it was lunchtime. I just didn't get involved with anybody. I wasn't a sports person. I was just more the one trying to get his education to get out of high school. Well, when I look back over life and I look at it right now, to a certain extent, I actually somewhat beat myself up because, really trying to have that social life, and because back in the day, 18-year-olds, we had a social life. We did things. We went to parties. We just now me at, as you say, 27, but I'm gonna tell my age because at the age 50.
No,
I look at my social life right now. It is nowhere near what it was back in the day. Now,
Mr. Monroe, you're 50?
Yes, I am. I turned 50 on
Get
March
out
8th.
of here.
Yes. Proud of it. Proud.
Oh,
Proud.
yeah. God bless you.
Thank you. But actually, just really looking at me being that 18-year-old, keeping to himself, and now me being that outgoing person who enjoy making an impact of people. And when you mention about legacy, that's just pretty much one of the most important things. And Judith said something when she was talking about I lost my train of thought when she mentioned something to the point of all of us have some kind of history in us, but also she said that we don't realize the power that we have as individuals. Well, in my opinion, that's because our ancestors back in the day didn't think about how should I leave a legacy. That's why I'm posing the question over and over and over for many of you all to think about your legacy. How are you gonna? What's your story gonna be when you leave? And I got to keep going back to that. Now, 18 years old, I didn't think about no legacy. 50 years old, I'm thinking about what that legacy looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to leave my kids when I leave here? What am I going to leave my community when I leave here?
Right.
It's about that legacy. So 18-year-olds, and one thing too, when it comes to 18-year-olds, their mindset is nowhere on the level of what a 50-year-old would be, which we know that's not going to be. But I believe, in my opinion, if we start providing them, and one of the things you put on Sam when you say that he stops and listen, that's where we're falling short as a people. We're not listening to people. You know why we're not listening? And I had a cousin of mine. We talk every day, just about. And she said something to the point of, because life clouds this mindset, we totally forget about everything else because we're too busy trying to live the life. But it got to go back to what that legacy is, because we all, again, as all of us shared a story, we all have a story to tell. But what is it going to be when your time is gone off this earth? So 18-year-old, 50-year-old, life is really different now because I have a different mindset. And I shared with you all in the introduction, it's all about the mindset. How do we train our minds? Because we're training our minds to live life, but are we training our minds to actually live and leave that legacy? Don't let your situation, I'm going to say that again, take the best of you. You take the best of the situation. How do I make it work for me? How do I make it work for my family? How do I make it work for my community? You know, with all that's going on in our society today, the question that I have to ask, let me go back. With all that's going on in society today, all the things that people are doing to, I say, destroy your own community. Why would you want to destroy your own community? How do we come together to grow our community? That's where the mind has to start going in that direction. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. But we got to have a few people like us who's on this call, like the people who are listening. They got to be a part of that change to take place. It's not going to be easy, but we got to push and push and push to make it happen. Everything we do is about the mindset. How do we change the mindset?
Karin, I want you to piggyback off of that. You too mentioned the importance of community in terms of our development or the development of our children. How do you tie that empowerment from the home to the community? How do you join those two together? You often speak on that.
It's a big question. See if I can do it justice. I think the foundation, as we've all touched on, the foundation at home is absolutely essential. Unlike Mr. Monroe, Sammy, I think fatherhood is one of the most important things. I had a great thing with my mom, but especially for boys, I think that having that male figure there or having someone there to help structure them is really important. I think that a lot of young males do okay. Some even do, but I don't think they really do fine without that father figure. That's
right.
just my opinion, and I'm sticking to that. I've seen
right.
it. They can grow and they can become highly successful, but I think there's always a missing component. For me, not having my father was very impactful and still is. I have no need of, I don't believe he's even still on the earth, but on this plane rather. But I think that fatherhood is extremely important, and what you bring to these relationships with the children is extremely important.
Tell us the example about the bull elephant that you always speak about.
I've watched several documentaries that focus on elephants that would be the equivalent of teenagers. And without that, an older elephant, male elephant, they go wild. Literally, they trample villages and kill people. The moment that an older elephant is introduced into their group, instant calm. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I think that father figure, even if it's an uncle or friend, it doesn't have to be a biological component to it. I don't believe in all of that. I think that's just amazingly powerful. And without it, I think a lot of children fall by the wayside. So it's great to have organizations, as you've described, Ignite, and others that I know of, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and stuff like that, which I've been involved with for years. I think those help out to help give some structure to their lives. It's important.
While you have the floor, Karin, I want you to answer that same question. I want you to compare the 18-year-old Karin coming out of high school, or you're a pretty smart individual. Maybe you got out at 17 or 16. I don't know.
No.
For
I
people
didn't challenge them. I just
for people like me, I probably wouldn't have gotten out until about 19. They probably would have burned the school down to get me out. But as I told you, they kicked me out at 14.
No.
So compare that 18-year-old coming out of high school to the 45-year-old Karin of today.
45. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. The 18-year-old, the similarities are very, very serious. Education for me was paramount. Structured education. Education comes in many forms, but for me, structured education was important because I didn't want the job where they could just look at me and tell me to leave, with no protections and, nothing to fall back on. So I was very, very serious, very focused, knew what I wanted from the time I was like 14, 15, as far as profession. I knew that nursing was what I wanted as a career. The current phase, still very, very serious, but I am more serious about, as you've all said in one way or another, leaving a legacy. But my definition of a legacy is nothing material, nothing tangible.
That's right.
I try to teach children, and have for quite a few years now, a couple of decades actually, to be respectful human beings. I'm from a culture Caribbean culture. Be respectful of older people who are older. If they disrespect you, I understand you're distancing yourself. But to essentially be respectful, to take care of your older population, which is something that this country seems to just let go by the wayside. Basically, my legacy would be to show children and young adults that they have to give back to the people who gave to them in order to be productive human beings in this society.
I like that.
Mr. Archer, talk to me about that 18-year-old Sammy to the young man you are today. How do those two people compare to each other?
The 18-year-old me was very necessary. it's very necessary. Unbelievable, confident, invincible. Well, I thought I was, wild and crazy, and a lot of craziness. And then growing up in a conservative background, it was time to free up a little bit. So I did free up, and I, very, very free, very, very free.
We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know.
Yeah, I know.
We know what you're talking about.
I almost had wings.
We don't know what you're talking about. You have to be a little more specific. We don't deal with generalities here.
Yeah.
Specificity.
Well, one of the things that was interesting is that being a creative, when you're growing up as a creative, and I've actually spoken to other creatives, and there's a lot of similarities. It's hard to fit in to the regular flow of classmates and church, and creatives are we're very forward thinkers. We would take on any task, whatever it might be. How to fix this tape recorder, or the speaker over here not working, or this mic. We don't look at it like it's impossible. We look at it, oh yeah, let's open it up and see what's going on. So we're kind of like that. Or one of the things I used to do, and don't tell too many people, but there's a lot of times the students, my classmates, they would want to sing a song that was already out, like a Sandy Paddy or a EV, and we wanted the words, and a lot of the songs. So they'll come to me. So what's the words for this? And I literally rewrite the song. Give them new lyrics.
The piece you're missing here, Sam, that people you spoke about a conservative background, but
yes,
you need to mention that going up SDA.
Yes,
you need to mention that. That's the conservative box that you were in.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that you couldn't sing secular music, or it was frowned upon,
among many other things.
Okay.
Among many other things.
So you're saying you had to rewrite the songs in order to sing them in that?
Oh no, that's a different thing. No, what I was saying is it was just part of being a creative.
Okay.
Like so for example, for me, a lot of the music I had to learn, we couldn't get the sheet music for it. So I will have to sit at the piano and play the cassette and learn that way. Right? But I'm just saying, people wanted to sing in school, and they will need the words for a song. So I will literally rewrite that song because I didn't know the words either.
Okay.
I know the melody of the song and where the word, the melody will go this way, and I'll just right on the spot rewrite the lyric and say, yeah, these are the words, fix up, and they'll go sing it because they'll, the words will fit melodically, and so they might be, let's say the actual writer sat in front of someone of those people, and they were going to cover the song. They might end up in a little argument. But
so you're saying you plagiarized?
I didn't plagiarize.
Okay.
Well, kinda.
Don't tell nobody.
I won't tell.
I just added some new verses. How is that? I added new verses.
All right.
And new sentences. Have you ever been to like a multi-denominational function, and they probably was gonna sing a regular hymn, and this denomination sang it different to this one, but most of the song, it will be similar. But then there'll just be little areas. And funny enough, the areas that were different is that one person went to school and they had to count this way. And they're like, yeah, this goes like this, because they had to read it off of a book. And or the score, they had to read the score. So they might not have learned that this note was 3 beats, or this note was 4 beats, or this was a dotted minim or whatever. And then this other denomination is singing the same song, but in certain parts they're singing it differently. Because that one actually went to school and learned the stuff, and they might be singing it right. And then you add 50 years to that of generations learning these songs in church, and everybody's confused because they're like, but that's not how that song go. And that, but it's just a funny thing to see. I've seen that.
Are you one of the confused individuals today? I'm saying those years. What has it done for you?
I know. But that's how I have to explain it. That's how I have to explain it. It's done amazing things. So now,
so you're telling me that you gain clarity from all of this?
Yes.
Not confusion. Not confusion.
No, you have to go through the fire because you're gold.
Curtis, you're listening to him confused. He's not confused.
No. I'm trying to understand whether or not he came out, the 18-year-old Sam.
Yes,
so
sir.
between 18 and 50, that today you came out in a state of confusion, or did you come out from that in a state of clarity? That's what I'm trying to establish here.
It was a state of discipline.
Okay.
Right. So growing up in that religious background, you learn that discipline. So that was like walking with a boat because you know a river coming.
Jesus, stop me.
And then you use the boat to cross the river. And when you cross the river, you leave the boat because that's what the boat was for.
Oh, Lord help
and
me,
then you let the boat go, and then now you keep traveling. So I had to go through that. And then you grow to the next level. And then you grow to the next level. So I'm still growing.
Mr. Monroe, you still with us? You still with us?
Yeah, it's just that the metaphors, some of the metaphors, I don't know if they're registering. That's what I'm trying to. Karin shaking her head, so I'm trying to figure out if she gets in the
feeling like a Parkinson's patient, Sam. Come on now, man. Stop it.
I'm trying to figure out if she catch the metaphor.
Am I moving too fast for you guys?
But I like the way he just ended it. He said he's still growing.
Right, that's good. That's
still
good.
growing. That's right.
Yeah.
So let me give Dr. Judith some time. Let me find out about. Hold on. I don't know if you could remember that far back, but let me go back to the 18-year-old Judith coming out of high school.
Wrong for that.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Yeah. Go back to the 18-year-old Judith coming out of high school compared to the fine 50-year-old you are today.
50-year-old?
Yes.
Oh God.
Listen, let me not. I will not venture into the waters that Mr. Samuel Archer has ventured into. One of ambiguity and, all over, traveling in dark places, come out to the light and go back into the dark again. I won't do that. But I will say this. It's been a while since I was 18. And that's okay. I don't really remember.
I acknowledge that. I just wanted to know if you remember.
You don't have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that. It is my age. It is my concern. It's my history. You're too feisty. Excuse me. That just slipped out. No, but in all seriousness, I think when I was a youngster and up until the age of 18, I was dynamic. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I was dynamic. I read everything. I saw the world in such a luscious, wonderful form. And then as I got older, people started telling me, you're too this, or you're too that. So I started getting serious. I started thinking, maybe I need to be, you're too weird, Judith. You're too peculiar. And when I tell people when I came to America, I was 17 and I looked like a Biafran toothpick. I was this small with an afro like this. and everybody picked on me. And I was, but I always knew who I was. And I got that from my father. I got that from my physical father that told us children, but gave me an identity as a young girl. He always spoke with me and shared with me. And that's one of the biggest part of my life, most impacting is the relationship I had with my father. And so he gave me an idea who I was. So at 18, when people were saying things or whatever, I was like, okay. He's like, somebody already told me who I am. So I could handle that. That person that I was at 18 and the difference now, I wish I had known at 18 what I know now. I really wish. I'm sure most of us do.
Right.
But I was a dynamic human being. Nothing was impossible. And then I got older, and in the middle, some people started telling me, you're too much. Like Curtis tells me all the time. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. What's wrong with you? But who I am now, I like the person that I am. Still under development, still under construction. I have accepted for a long time that people talk about the Bible and the Word of God. I've accepted for a long time that folks don't know how to use the word.
Right.
And if they use it properly, we'd be off the chain awesome.
Yes.
It is not my enslavement. It doesn't enslave me. It frees me. I have great liberty in the life that I've chosen. And the basic thing is that I like who I am. I like who I'm becoming. And that's with the flaws and the mistakes and all of that stuff. I don't know what to say. Basically, I don't know what else to say is that I have messed up so much, but I have grown so much. I forgive myself. I don't hold people hostage for the mistakes they have made. I don't have malice towards people. Those things are important to me. Not holding malice, I'm quick to forgive because I've been forgiven much. So between 18 and 67, which I'm proud to tell you, I'm 67. Don't give me no 50. I earned this. Between then and now, look at Sam Archer.
I was just counting how much 18 could go into 67.
Quite
as
a few
long
times.
as 67 doesn't try to go into 18, as the Trinis love to say.
But let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, I wear it well. I carry it with style. I carry it with aplomb and gusto and dunamis power. I am, Mr. Monroe, I share this with you. I found out 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, and I never knew that I had that in me.
Yes.
And that has helped me to solidify my relationship with God, that when people tell you that it's not really doesn't exist, it does. Because he's the one who told me to do it.
That's right.
And when I started selling those paintings, I said, now, you want to mess with my father? This is serious stuff. But in order for me to paint, I had to believe him. And let me tell you, one of the most powerful things about my life is that I have no shame.
That's right.
In the sense that the mistakes I've made, I made them. And there are people who come back from your past and they try to remind you about the mistakes. And I said, why are you telling me that? I'm the one that told you.
Right.
But what they tell you with the hope that you'll fall off and give up. And give
Take
up.
that off the screen.
And give up.
Take that off the screen, Sam. No, put it back up. Let Judith see what it is I'm talking about. It was distracting. Take that off the screen.
Shut up. But seriously, I when I started painting, I cried because I live in amazement. And if there's anything about my life that's exciting, is that I live in constant amazement at the things that I've been allowed to do, that I can do, that I'm learning to do. And the Bible talks about giving ashes, beauty for ashes. And that's what I'm receiving. And I'm at the stage where people think it's over. It's done, and man, I'm brand new, starting all over again.
That's right.
And that's something that I wish I could give young women. Is do not, they had a thing the other day. I just insert this. They had a thing the other day about older women dressing like they're in their 20s and whatever. And I keep telling women, I said, let me tell you, if you learn to dress the way, if you know your character, if you know who you are, and dress that way, man, you'll just blow people away.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to be something that you're not and that you don't need to be.
Right.
Because a lot of people are getting older, but not a lot of people are maturing. I'm maturing. And I thank God for that.
Curtis,
so,
can I say
Mr.
one thing?
Yes, I want you to, as you have the floor right now,
okay,
tell us a little more about your organization.
Yes.
And in closing, tell us, what would you like your legacy to be?
Gotcha. Quick one thing on something Judith said. When she mentioned about her father told her who she was. I have a little sister. Well, let me back up. She's not little. She's actually 30. She'll be 32 years old this year. But I have always been the father figure for her, growing up from a baby up until this 31-year-old woman that she is. I instilled the same thing in her about who she was. And to this day, I'm very proud of her. She's actually will be getting her doctor's degree in December of 2021.
Wonderful.
She's just a powerful young lady. I mean, you all really have to one day meet her. But I did the same thing. I instilled in her, and I walked the walk to let her know that when a young man takes you out, he should open the door for you. When a young man takes you out, he should respect you. Again, that's a part of leaving a legacy. Sam does that with his daughters. He stops and listens. He asks questions. He walks by example. So I want to just comment on Judith's comment about her dad teaching her who she was, and that's what I have done for my little sister. So now, technically, with mom gone, it's her and I, and we literally talk every day as well too. And it's me encouraging, empowering, motivating her. So not only am I doing that for young people, but I'm doing it for adults as well too. Far as Ignite Empowerment Community Center, my wife and I are really striving each and every day, because she's a community person too. It'd have been great if she could have been a part of the call as well too. But we strive every day to make impact through Ignite Empowerment. Because of the COVID, and you all know with COVID taking place, a lot of people have went through some challenges on a mental level. But what she has done, she has created a book club. And she implemented what we call Ignite Institutes, where we have different speakers that come in to help people deal with mental issues or to find ways to have a self-care day. But that book club has been, and it's virtual. And we actually literally have someone from the, I believe it's the Bahamas, that actually participates. We have some people from Bahamas, Detroit, and locally here in Broward County. She has about a flow of about 10 to 12 people that take part in it. But Ignite Empowerment strives every day to impact the life of not just the child, but also the adult as well too. Because we want to see families, come together. We want to see families grow. We want to see families leave that legacy, in pretty much in a nutshell. So we strive to walk that walk. And most important, as Judith said, it's about being consistent. And one of the things that I definitely want to say in closing, what's most important when it comes about leaving the legacy, it's about the consistency. But what's most important is being committed to it.
Amen. Amen.
If you have no commitment to it,
amen,
it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to be committed to it. And that goes back to that word I mentioned earlier. You got to be intentional in order for change to happen in your life, in order for change to happen in your community. You have to be intentional. And, you know, one of the things that I have to share, I accepted Christ back in 1992. And I went through the motions of being an usher, Sunday school teacher, doing all that. But, you know, after going through COVID, May of 2020, now, and I say this, and I'm very transparent when it comes to this, because I'm very proud of myself. Yeah, 1992, May 2020, I realized I didn't have a relationship with Christ.
Amen.
I just went through the motions. hallelujah, praise God, and doing everything that everybody would do if you were there. But all of us need to sit back and really ask ourselves, do we have that relationship with Christ? Because it's very important. So now, because I'm developing my relationship, I'm being intentional. That's what has got me to this point where I am right now. To feel good about myself, to continue to do the work that I'm doing to impact the life of people. But it's most important about being committed, consistent, in order for you to have change in your life.
So once again, just give me that final thought on shedding those labels, those man-made labels. And oftentimes in society, as Black men, we hear the rumor. In a lot of cases, it's true, but that Black men don't stick around for their children, and Black men are not present in the lives of their children, and only single mothers in the Black community. And those are the labels that they put on us as a community. Tell us, in your opinion, what we need to do to shed that stereotype, shed those labels from.
Thank you for that question, because it's only really, I would say it's a lot of things to do, but what's I found to be the most important of those is, one, having that quality time with your child, and two, reaching out. They might not be raised in your household. It's okay for you to reach out, to develop that relationship. Again, it goes back to being intentional, because a couple of things take place. You're reaching out. Now you're developing a relationship. Now you can listen to what's being said. So now if there's any challenges while that child's in school, guess what? You kind of know what's going on. You got to be a part of what's going on in order to make change. If you choose not to, and I do get bothered, because we do have a lot of men who are out there making babies and not doing what they're supposed to do as a father. You know, at one point, I used to kind of have I used to label it as a father, a dad, or a sperm donor. The dad was one that actually pretty much did what they needed for us, providing financial support, child support. Father is one who listens, one who's there for support. And that sperm donor is somebody who just doing what he do to make a baby. So look at those three ways I have identified a father. But what's most important is being there to support your child when they need you to be there. So those would be my key points to empower a father to want to build a relationship with their child. Be there for support when they need you.
Thank you. Dr. Judith, take us home.
Which home? Yours or mine? Listen, I've enjoyed this, and I think you know me that this whole discussion is not only good and worthwhile, but it's vital, especially in this age. So this young man that got killed in Minnesota, 20 years old, a couple of days ago, as a race of people, I remember when we first started, I first was on this program, and Karin talking about Africa and the high rate of Black folks, Africans, trying to lighten their skin, and how we in the Caribbean do it, and how Blacks in America does that, and how we basically do not have enough knowledge, self-knowledge, about our power, about our history, about where we are from and where we can possibly go. This kind of conversation that we're having tonight is vital. You talk about shedding labels. You asked Mr. Monroe about shedding labels. I would love for us to start shedding some labels. You know, we are not this because somebody told us that we are. I wish as a race of people we become more intentional, more deliberate about what we want to leave behind. It's not always about material things. Do you leave behind a young man or a young woman who knows who they are and can then guide another person to becoming who they're supposed to become? Those are the kind of things that this kind of conversation hits me, and I wish that whoever is listening and participating that the only thing that makes a difference in this world, in my opinion, is to do.
That's right.
We can read, and again, I go back to James 1:22. Let's not just be hearers of this word. Let's be doers. Let us stop waiting for a white person to kill one of us to have importance. Because it seems that only when a white person shoots us that we have value. And let us get to the point where we are valuable beyond all of that. And it's not about the hairstyle. It's not about the clothes. It's not about the expensive sneakers. It's about what's inside of us, what our ancestors died for, what they suffered through for in this country so we could have. So this discussion to me is key. Who am I? Who am I as an individual? And one of the things I try my best to instill in my son is, what have you got to offer this society? When I was a little girl, I knew I had a responsibility to society. I've always known it wasn't always about me. And that's something that I think this generation of blacks especially, white folks gonna take care of their own. And I don't mean to be difficult, but it's just they'll take care of their own. We need to get to the place where we understand that our value is not caught up in what the white man thinks about us, that we don't need their approval. Today I was talking to somebody about that. Black folks have two problems. To me, two major problems. We do not know our own power, and we continue to look to the white man to approve of us. Those are dangerous things. And until we can get out of this denial thing that we have done for years, try to talk to a group of black people about what we do, how we stalemate ourselves, how we met, and they don't want to hear it. They're going to walk out. So this discussion, I think it's vital. I wish that we could do it on a larger scale, maybe, and involve more people, because this word that what we shared tonight is well needed now. We're in trouble.
Yes.
We're in trouble. We're in serious trouble. And I hope that we can do this again or invite more people or whatever it takes. But above all else, folks, I want us to be people that are doers, not just hearers of the word or readers of the word. If I tell you, let me share this quick and I'll end here, Curtis. I went to a funeral on Saturday for a Caucasian co-worker. And this Caucasian pastor, there's mostly Caucasians in the church and everything. And the pastor gets up in the pulpit. And I preached on staff at the church here in Georgia for about a year. And one of the reasons why I no longer preach is because, they used to have a term, sock it to me. I sock it to you. You understand? I'm going to tell you what I'm supposed to tell you.
Right.
So this man gets up there. Majority of people in there are Caucasians. You barely hear anybody say amen or clap. Of course, I'm the one I got to say amen, because when I feel it, I'm going to do it. And the man says this. He said, I'm not going to give a big sermon. He said, this woman that we have here in this coffin, do you think if she had a chance to come back here, she would want to? My hand shot up. If I wouldn't either.
Right.
And then he said, many of you here, you can't tell the last time you cracked the Bible. He said, I'm sure she would want me to tell you what I'm about to tell you. Get your house in order. You got to start deciding. A funeral is for the living. I'm sure most people know that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And a good pastor is supposed to do an altar call. It must be done. It's necessary. And when he said, you are here talking about a great educator she was. Hey, she walked the talk. She didn't just talk, and she walked the life of a Christian. She lived that life. What are you going to do about what you heard here today? We don't need to celebrate her just as a great educator. We need to emulate her life. And guys, Dr. King died. He knew he was going to die, and he kept talking anyway. We have become, and the pastor said it on Saturday, we have become so earthworthy and earthbound. We don't want to die for anything anymore. We want what Andy Warhol called 15 minutes of fame. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, and they just did a big survey on that. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to make a lot of money, but we are not concerned about our souls. And that's why we're in so much deep trouble. That's it.
Awesome.
Miss Forrester,
Yes,
I
sir.
know we
How may I help
discussed
you?
it. Everyone touched on it. You touched on it. Give us your closing arguments on how we as individuals, we as a people, can shed some of those man-made labels that are placed upon our shoulders, that we walk around with heavy burdens to bear because of what society expects of us, as opposed to what we are destined to do.
I don't claim labels apply to me. There are certain instances where somebody's on point in describing the way that I am as a person, but I don't claim these labels. No matter what the words, I just refuse to claim labels. I am so much more than the influences of family, community, and country. I've learned about myself that I am from my ancestry is such that it has given me so many different beliefs and practices. I don't claim the labels that people want to put on me.
Mm-hmm.
I just refuse. And I think if more people refuse, they can say what they want. They can call you what they want. What do you answer to? I don't answer.
Sam, what do you answer to?
Is that a rhetorical question?
You don't give a rhetorical answer anyway.
Take us home.
I can't.
So we are all definitely more than the labels we carry. And the label is just a working title.
Like that.
You know, it's just a working title. You know, you pass and you see people in the morning and you say, good morning. How are you? I'm fine. And you keep it moving. And, you know, you might have on a white lab coat or, you know, RN uniform, or, you know, you look like Mike Tyson jogging down the street. You know, or you might pass the news van, you know, there goes that news van again. And those labels you see, you know, throughout the day, you know, there's a lot more that's going on than what's there. You know, that might either be the job or a career, what have you, but it doesn't define, you know, who we are. And that's very comforting to know. But just to close out, when Curtis asked about the question, or he said he observed me paying attention to my daughters. There was one instance many moons ago. I was at an event, and a family friend, goes by Dr. Ryan. He was there, and you know, so I met him there, and I had both, you know, of course the girls were a lot younger, and but they were kind of like clinging to me, you know, and so I was like, hey, you know, because some of their school friends were around, I said, hey, you guys could, you know, you could go play with your friends and so on. And Dr. Ryan, he kind of he checked me, but in a nice way, you know. And he said, well, don't run them away. They want to hang with you. Enjoy it. You don't know how long
Amen.
they would want to hang with you. And he said it with a smile, but it sort of like went in your soul kind of way. And that was one thing I took away from that. So it wasn't that I didn't pay attention to them before that, but it was just something to reinforce that I needed to pay attention, especially if they're at that age, they still want to hang around. You know, don't, kind of receive that, because they are going to get to the point where they'll be independent. And it reminds me of a country song I used to hear when I was growing up, where this guy, every time he saw his dad, he
always just like me.
Yeah, every time you want to play with the dad was too busy. We'll get together someday and whatever. And then now the old man is old, and then the young boy is thing, and then now the old man wants to play. He wants to hang out with the son, and the son says, "We'll get together one day, Dad," and the cycle continues. So that's not a cycle I would like to be a part of. So I just wanted to share that, to extend to Curtis' question that he asked, his comment from before. And that's my two-piece for the night. Leg and thighs.
I want to thank our viewers, those who contributed in the conversation. Lisa Mays, she said, labels don't define us, it's just a working title. Lisa also said that we must be doers, not just readers and hearers of the word, but we should practice the word.
That's right.
She said that quality time and reach out to your children. Be a part of what's going on in your children's lives. That's very important.
Juice.
Lisa also said, yes, brand new. It's never too late to become brand new. You can always start over. In nowadays terms, they call it rebranding. You can always rebrand yourself, no matter what age you are. You don't have to hold on to the old ideals of whom society think you should be. Also, like to thank Andrea Lamothe. That is empowered. You gave yourself permission. Dr. Judith, you are okay. I don't know. It look a little. I can't see it. Doctor,
just take off the star part. Leave the rock.
I'm not quite sure what that is. I can't really see it. We can skip past that.
Andrea.
Judith is 26. Andrea also asked Sam, what language was that you were speaking? That is with the boat in the hand and the cross in the river. And, the metaphors that you were using, she was questioning,
Yeah, so it's kind of high, it kind of high.
I thought it was deep.
To say that fatherhood is one of the most important things. Children need the male figure for structure in their lives, and that knowledge is power. But true power, I do believe Sam Monroe would agree with me, is in the execution of that knowledge. And not just the possession of that knowledge, but how we execute it, how we use it to reinforce our own lives, and how we use it to have an impact on humanity as a whole. Lisa says we must come together to grow as a community and stop destroying it. It's called growth. Ask yourself, am I leaving a legacy? That was Lisa. Jay Clark said, I think it's essential in our progress as a nation of people. Motivation is inspiring. It is deeper than the surface. Love your energy. Miss Roberts says, yes, very powerful. Karin, the Ashanti, a warrior tribe of people. I know it. I know it. You see, something just led me to this. They said, you know what? Read the comments. It brought clarity. This was the Ashanti people, a warrior tribe. That is what Andrea said, not me. As far as I know, the Ashanti people, they're famous for gold and brass craftsmanship, wood carvings, furniture, and this kente cloth. That's what I know about the Ashanti people. And the Ashanti word in itself is Kiswahili, and it actually means thank you. That's where the Ashanti word comes from my understanding. And what I said, don't let your yesterday affect your tomorrow. Love the introduction and history. Very well spoken, intentional, and positive mindset. Somebody said choir boy. I know they wasn't talking about me or Mr. Monroe.
That's my cousin.
Oh, that's you. Say it was you or
talking about me.
Oh, that's you.
That's his nickname. That's my nickname he has for me.
So there's some reason why they gave you that nickname. You left out that part of the story. It's all right. You're going to tell me whenever, listen to this carefully.
Yes.
You listening?
Yes.
You're going to explain that part to us when you come back.
Okay. That works. I got you.
All right. You hear me?
I heard you. Yes.
All right. You understand me?
I understand.
All right. Did he say, Miles to Infinity, I didn't realize you were here with us tonight. She said, big up Dr. So hold on. Miles to Infinity coming to show. She is say good night, everybody. Good night, people. Good night, Curtis.
She just come to big up she friend.
She just come in and say, big up Dr.
Big up she
I'm gonna keep moving. Awesome, Sam. Let's go. Tykia Henry carries my last name there. We might be family. I don't know. Let's go, Mr. Monroe. Okay. Sammy, you made the man wipe his eyes. I think I read that already. Don't be shy. Oh, that's Karin talking to the listening audience. Make comments freely. Georgia, thank you for sharing this live on your YouTube community wall. Thank you for the continued support. Thank you. I cannot say it enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we just a sum total of our parents? Two sets of DNA that will luckily or accidentally merge during a moment of intimacy? Or was it destiny? I've heard people say that our souls have the ability to choose. Souls in general have the ability to choose, meaning that we chose our parents. I'm not speaking about the physical form, but the soul, the essence, chose our parents. That's what I heard. If this is true, I thank my children for choosing me, for choosing us as their parents. As individuals, we all arrive to this plane here bearing gifts and talents unlike any other. We have dreams and aspirations that are unique to you and I as individuals. I have seen it. I spoke about it just today. I have seen individuals who try to steal my plans, try to steal my dreams. And they run from here to there, and then they don't know where to go from there. You know why? It wasn't your gift to begin with. It wasn't your dream to materialize. You stole it, and you didn't have the directions where to go. So you ran the first leg of the relay, and then you run out of gas. And some of them had the audacity to turn around and ask me to come and help them after stealing from me. But that's another story. What I'm trying to say is that we need to share these gifts that we came here with. Share your gifts. It's valuable to some person out there, just one. Just maybe one person you can leave an impression on. Share your gifts. Dr. Miles Monroe said that how sad it would be to be on your deathbed and you look around and instead of your family members, it's your dreams standing there looking at you, crying out, why didn't you do something with me? Why didn't you let me materialize to help somebody? He also said that the cemetery is one of the richest places because therein lies poems that have never been written, songs that have never been sung, plays that have never been written and produced. I urge you, listeners, panelists, to not let your dreams die with you. Do not let your past dictate your future. Learn from it. Learn from your past. Look back, but don't live there. I often speak about driving in a vehicle. If you pay attention, you would notice that the window is larger than the rearview mirror. The rearview mirror is for you to just occasionally look back to see where you've been, what's behind you. But we have to focus on the bigger picture. Look through the window that's in front of you. Do not hold on to the past. Do not hold on to the labels that have been put upon you by society. We are so much more than that. Some of us have barely started to live. We barely started to dig beneath the surface to see who we truly are, what we're made of. And I urge you, don't find these gifts and these talents and keep them to yourself. If you do, let me speak it frankly, you're a thief. Because you came here to this plane with those talents and those gifts to share with humanity, to enrich other people's lives. Understand that no man came here doing anything for himself. It took somebody to bathe you. It took somebody to clothe you. So live a life of service. The very same way someone was at service to you in the early stages of your life, live a life of service. Be of service to other people. Zig Ziglar also said this: in order to get what you want in life, help enough other people get what they want in life.
Amen.
And then you will see luxuries. Then you will see success in your own life. Share your dreams, share your talents with others, and do not hold on to it. It's not yours to keep. Personally, I'll perform my life's mission and let others tell that story. So sum it all up. The writer, the actor, the artist, the activist, the performer, the personality, the husband, the father, the poet, the confidant, the lover, the friend. Who am I to you? Who am I to you? Thank you all for joining us. Peace and blessings.
Bless.